For Off the Block. I'm Vinny Lopes, and we are now joined by North Greenville University men's volleyball head coach Fred Battenfield after his team pulled off a program first last night as number 6 seed. They went in and defeated the number 3 seed Belmont Abbey in the Conference Carolina Tournament quarterfinals, first postseason win ever for North Greenville. And Coach, have to start off right there. What does that mean for your program that you guys are moving on beyond the first round?
Well, Vinny, anytime you have a chance to beat some great teams in our conference, it means a lot. You know, after 5 years of battling and struggling, we finally were able to break through and get to the tournament. I challenged the guys and said, guys, we've never gotten past the first round. It's time to change that. And they stepped up yesterday. We had a couple great performances and were able to win. Now we get to the semifinals on Wednesday night, and we'll see what happens.
And, Coach, I want to ask you a couple questions about that match last night. First game, you lose. You make a center change. You bring in Jake Bulldog. Can you talk about the job that Jake was able to do guiding that offense?
Well, I can't take full credit for that. Prior to the match, Matt McManaway, my assistant, goes, if things don't go so well the first game, you need to be ready to pull the trigger on the setter. I'm like, well, Matt, what do you base that on? And as I found out later, he just had a feeling of the way that Jake had performed in practice the week that he was going to be ready to go. And so when things didn't really click in game one like we wanted to, we made the move, and Jake played amazing. He was the difference in the match, and he was able to set us through. He threw up some great balls, but he finally showed some of the leadership skills in the quality setting he was able to do, and he really made the big difference in the match for us.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, have to ask you, you have another match coming up on Wednesday. Do you know who your starting setter is going to be?
I definitely will stay with Jake Bulldog.
Yeah.
He has earned it. I mean, somebody that does that for us and gets us a win against, going up against a King team that, they took care of us pretty good during the season. We won 4 games with them up at their place, and so we feel like we can compete with them. We just need be a little bit better prepared. But I'll go with Jake. He comes from some pretty good, volleyball lines, and I think he's ready to step up and really lead us to the next couple of rounds here, we hope.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of MIVA fans will know Jake Bulldog from his older brother, BJ Bulldog, who led Lewis to many MIVA championships and NCAA tournament appearances. But, Coach, I do want to also ask you, the person who Jake was setting to, Aaron Campbell, the senior, 17 kills, hit about 500 in the match. What were you seeing that he was able to do to be so successful out there?
Aaron has really matured this last year. He used to be he would go up and just try to bang the ball every single time. But now every player reaches a point where they start seeing the block, and that's why Aaron's gotten. He doesn't have to go up and just pound the ball every time. He just sees that little hole, and he was able to hit it. And last night he was in the zone. I mean, he just couldn't miss last night. 17 kills on 2 errors, and he played very good defense. He just did all this things. He hit some great serves. His serve for effect more than anything else. Didn't serve a lot of aces like he's capable of, but had one of those matches that we really, really needed. And I challenged him because he didn't make all conference this year. I thought that was kind of an oversight by some of my colleagues in the league, but he took that to heart, and he stepped up and showed that he's very capable of competing with anybody in our league.
And Coach, I want to ask, is it something special for UC as a coach? Because I know with Aaron being a senior, and I know when you were recruiting him, it was at a time when you were, finding the people who may have been overlooked, and especially him being a player coming from New Hampshire. Was it something special to kind of see it all click last night in one of his final matches in his college career?
Well, it really was. He and Grayson Lawrence were my second recruiting class. We brought in a bunch of guys from the first year, didn't have a lot of scholarship money available. But I saw something in Aaron on his video, and he came down on his visit. He was left-handed. He was 6'4", 6'5", skinny kid, but he's grown into a man the last 4 years through our weight program, and he just had the capability. And I finally told him at the beginning of the season, it's your time to step up and get the things done and lead us. And he certainly did that last night. He proved that he was very capable of being one of our top players.
Yeah. And, Coach, I do want to ask about, you guys were able to get this win, but it came after a couple of difficult weeks in the season for you guys. You, I believe, lost your last 5 conference matches, 3 of them being in 5 games. And I think a couple of those even had match point opportunities. How were you able to help keep that positive mindset for your team going in the postseason so they weren't so down on themselves?
Very carefully. I've gotten a reputation. They call me 5-game Fred now. I was like, the referees hate me. primarily because they walk in the gym. It seems like every time we walk, we're going to play 5 games. And we lost 3 of our last 4 or 5 in 5 games. Match points on in a couple of them. We had get set points to pull ahead. We just could not capture that one little thing we needed to get over the hump. And finally last night we got a couple kills from Aaron and then Jackson Gilbert in another game. And then we relied. Liam Maxwell hit one of bounds on match point, and we just got a break. We just were able to finally push over the top and win one. And it was a crucial point of our season and for the development of our program as well, to show that we can play at the elite level in Conference Carolinas.
Yeah. Well, Coach, talking about playing at the elite level, you're going to be tested again coming up on Wednesday as you play King in the semifinals that you mentioned a little bit earlier in the interview. Last go around, a little bit rougher. You guys got swept. What do you guys have to do differently from a couple weeks ago to pull out the win against King?
Well, we have to be a little smarter at the net. I mean, they're a very, very good blocking team. They're a big team. They hit the ball extremely well. I got 2 good outside hitters. But they're kind of like us, struggling at the setter position. Ryan, Boer made a setter change against Emmanuel, and Emmanuel had them match point. Had 2 match points on them yesterday. So it just goes to show you the top to bottom in our league is pretty balanced. I mean, Emmanuel did a great job. She had an opportunity to win the match. We would have been playing somebody we beat twice during the season. So you just don't know how the league's going to stretch out. The King held on to win. They're a great team, but we have just got to be a little smarter what we do. We've got to block a little better on some of their hitters, and just it's sort of extremely tough. I mean, but it's going to be on a neutral court, over to play at Barton College, and who knows? It's the playoffs. Anything can happen at this point.
Well, Coach, I want to ask you, because obviously in your volleyball career, you have been involved in huge experiences, whether it was involved with the Olympic team, but for North Greenville and the North Greenville players, this is the furthest postseason run that they've had. Is there anything differently you have to do to make sure that your players are able to kind of handle, the increased magnitude of every match that they play?
Well, I told them last week, this is one and done, guys. It's like any other sport, playoff time. You lose, you go home. If you win, you keep playing. I keep it on. My favorite saying is 3 matches in April. We could have gone over. As long as we made the conference tournament, we win 3 matches in April, we'd get to the D1 tournament. And we're 2 matches away now. We've never been able to say that before, but it is different. I mean, it shows that we're finally, all the hard work that we've done at a very small school to continue to move up the ladder. I mean, just to keep pressing the other teams. And they're the only teams in our league that we haven't beaten this year is King and Limestone. We split with Barton. We took games off of King. We took games off of Limestone. We lost a tight one to Limestone last week. So we are capable. We were within the 1 win of hosting a first-round match. And we could have won 2 of those. We finished in 3rd place. And so it was really that close between 4 or 5 teams in the last 2 weeks of the season. So the conference in the middle was very well balanced. So you could see some interesting things between Limestone and Barton, and the same thing with us and King on Wednesday. It could be a very interesting Conference Carolina semifinals.
Yeah. Well, Coach, and final question, we'll let you go on this. This is the time of year where you have maybe the volleyball fans who haven't been totally plugged in Conference Carolinas, but they're maybe out on the West Coast, and now they're plugging in to see who's going to be in the NCAA tournament. What do you want for fans who may have never seen your team before, know about your team entering Wednesday's match?
Well, we coming from a different perspective of budgets and capabilities. We're just trying to build something that is an opportunity for young boys to come and play. Because that's what's the only reason I got back into coaching again after being out for a few years, is to see the growth of the sport to continue. Barton made some noise this year, beating Southern Cal, beating Grand Canyon, and beating some very, very good teams. And with us beating them, that kind of opened up some eyes, early in the season that, hey, who are these guys? If we were fortunate enough to get that far, there'd be a lot of Googling going on. Where the heck is North Greenville? But that's essentially what we're about. Just get a little bit more exposure. I hope, people that are reading this, I've got some scholarship money available next year. I can use a transfer. You never know what you're going to get. Somebody decides, maybe I'll give that place a try. And so, that's what I'm looking for. We have to, if we can get lucky on a couple guys like Aaron Campbell and Jackson Gilbert, for the next few seasons, we'll be able to start competing at the top of the league every single year.